Hi, it's Maureen Kyle with MaureenKyle.com and themodmom.blog, making your daily work-life balance a little easier and a lot happier. Today we are going to figure out how to say no without sounding like a lazy jerk. Are you a yes person? Most likely, even if you just said no to that question, you've been put in a situation where in the moment it was so much easier to just say yes and then deal with the consequences, but your life became more and more complicated. And if you're doing this all the time, that means life is complicated all the time. You may be that friend who people go to and say, hey, can you help? Can you help me move? And you say, all right, yes. Or maybe you're the caregiver in your life and everyone is always looking to you to help them in their situations at home. And then the most complicated, of course, is when you're at work and you become that yes person and you're always saying, yes, boss, I can do it, but then you've taken too much on.
And the crazy thing about saying yes to everything is it works for a time. And it really does help you move up in an organization and you become the go-to person.
Saying yes all the time and being that go-to person is actually kind of addicting. You get a rush of endorphins. You feel important. But career coach Mark Gonska says after you say yes to all of those things, then comes the crash.
There's a limit to how far you can go. So are you the person who says yes to 10 things and only can get 5 of them done? Well, 50%, where I come from, would be a failing grade.
As we've already established, it's easy to say yes and it's hard to say no. So what if there are a few other things that we can say instead that get us out of this sticky situation?
That sounds really important. Let me give it some thought. Then we have some margin in here to be thinking about, how could I actually get that done? And literally putting the mental and emotional brakes on ourselves, because we know ourselves well enough that if we didn't think about it, what would we say? Sure. Yeah, I'll get it done. Yeah. Don't know how, but I'm not thinking about that. I'm just saying yes. Buy some time.
Mark recommends setting a deadline when you say, let me give it some thought. For example, say, let's talk about it at 2 o'clock this afternoon, or let's talk about it first thing tomorrow morning. And then he pointed out something that I found so true. Most of the time, that super important project that you had to decide on today isn't even on tomorrow's agenda. So you're just taking on a project that might not even be that important. Saying something to buy you some time also gives you that chance to take a look at your calendar, see what kind of projects you have lined up, can you fit it in, and where does it fall on the priority list. There is a way to say yes, but you have to have a key word that goes along with it to really put it in perspective how much you have going on in your life.
Everything within us is screaming, yes, 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 of course. And the boss nods after we've said yes, leaves, and then, how did I do it one more time? Maybe under the glass in your desk, if you have such a thing, you want the words that say, yes, and. What? Yes, and let's take a look at the other projects that I'm going to need to table for now.
Mark says these phrases take practice. You need to practice them over and over so that when you're in that moment, you're comfortable saying these things. Also, he points out there is a downfall of yes people, and that's assuming that your work speaks for itself.
So yes, you worked all weekend to get that proposal done, and yes, you were communicating with people across the globe in different time zones, and you were up at 3 o'clock in the morning because it was 5 there, and that was the most convenient time for a conference call. It sounds like bragging if I mention it, but if my boss isn't aware of the sacrifices that I'm making for the business, then I'm at a disadvantage to ask for some accommodation in my personal life.
So before I go, leave a comment in the comments section. I want to know, what is the most ridiculous thing that you've ever agreed to do or to help someone do? Hopefully this helps you, whether you are getting piled on at work or maybe you're the person that the PTA always comes to and asks to bake 10,000 cupcakes. Maybe now you have the courage and the tools to say no politely. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and you can follow me on MaureenKyle.com.